for me, there's another dimension to that, because you can create your own future. Okay, if you word it that way, it's kind of like you get the impression that it's something that you're doing independently. Like you're an island and you're creating your own future and you're insulated from everything else and all that kind of thing. But that's not it at all. It's kind of like, for me anyway, it's what's getting real obvious to me is that your life, well, for one thing, your life isn't your own. Your life is something that was preconceived for much higher purposes. And it has a general theme. And that theme is ordained beforehand. You ever come into this life, it's all very, very conceptual and abstract, which is kind of funny terms to use, but it's not deterministic. Let's put it that way. So it's interesting when the science of epigenetics comes up, and they discover that your genetics aren't deterministic either. Like there's parts of them that sort of are, but they can be modified as well. So, like, I don't know if anybody's done this yet or not, but if epigenetics is true to the extent that the potential of it talks about, you could actually intentionally change things like your eye color, because epigenetics shows that you can actually change how your DNA expresses itself, how your genes express themselves. So a lot of things like that. Like this is really funny. I ran across somebody on Instagram, and she calls herself a reverend something or other. She did this thing, this intentional thing, and she didn't even, I don't think she even directly addressed her DNA, but she set this intention, and she really focused on it or something. And it was about being healthy, or about wishing for the body that she wanted. And what's really amazing is that her breasts enlarged, like organically, and she's got all this documented. It's like, I'm going like, holy crap, is that ever hilarious? So she's manipulating her DNA in the way that she figured out, and it wasn't even intentional that be the effect, but that's what's actually happened. And I'm going like, is that ever hilarious? Like, it's absolutely, like, my gosh. So now she's selling these courses and teaching people how she did what she did. And I'm going, it's so funny. Because you know how many millions of dollars have been spent on boob jobs.
Good morning, Cinderella.
Cinderella.
Good morning.
You showed up at a really interesting time.
Yeah. Just a fly on the wall with that one.
Yeah. Well, basically what I'm talking about is these kids, these young people are kind of stumbling across the truth of things like epigenetics and kinesiology and that kind of thing, like muscle testing and being able to manipulate your own DNA, and stuff like that. And it's like these people are fearless, and they're just somebody suggests something and they just go for it. They just try it, and the results are amazing.
So today is the demonstration of we're focused on creating your future. And so that's the container that exists in this morning. As the potential, the possibility, the could of that. So if we look at the structure, it's if that is true, truth, intentions, and where we are with that now. Another word is creating.
Where I was going with that, Cinderella, just before you showed up, I kind of got into a rabbit hole and using a specific example. But I was talking about how I've discovered that there's our lives are foreordained, as in there's a predetermined theme that's there before we get here. And and living this life is about living out that theme in the way that it was intended. But there are, in this 3D, 4D environment, this time-space environment that we're in, there's a lot of obstructions that are part of the experience. So for me, what this means is that I spend a lot of time aligning with higher purpose and endeavoring to live from there. And live from that, live from that foreordained intention for my life. And the more synced I get with that, the easier and more effortless my life gets, and the more magic it becomes.
So you're saying the life that I'm currently living is in a predestinated theme, but I'll experience more or less resistors of that theme the closer I am to my spirituality alignment. It'll be
Yeah.
smoother.
Yeah, the closer you get to aligning to it. Because part of it is about discovering what that actually is. Because it's kind of, there's a mystery behind this is that it's actually hidden. Or not that it's hidden on purpose, but that purpose, that pre-intention ends up getting obscured by all the other stuff that's going on in this environment. So I discover what that is, and then I choose to align with it. You know, I choose to align with all the higher intentions that there are in the cosmos that include me, that I am a part of. And I learn to live from there. And to make this more personal, what I'm discovering for myself is that those intentions are written on my heart. They're written in there. They're not hardwired, but they're written there. It's kind of like there's a software program. It's not hardware, it's software. Which means that I can co-create it. I can insert my own lines of code in it.
So how I relate to that is that in the silence as we practice here, and then at certain times when I'm aware of it, there's a feeling that's way down deep. It's a yearning to express something, to go for, to bring into, to create, but it's not clear at all. And it's like wind.
Yes.
As it's guiding, as it's like a wind, it's like wind and blowing you in directions. Like, try this and work it this way and see that it's is that what is that the obvious action? And it's so aligned with our joy, our satisfaction, our wholeness, that when we're not in that, we are going away from it. And that's the result of frustration, anger, and we may focus those unwanted feelings out there on our situations, our circumstances, things out there as not right. But what it really is just information that we're
feedback.
Yeah, that it's something has to change. And it could be very simple and it could be very radical.
Yeah, that feedback lets you know that you're out of sync with your.
And it's not obvious, it doesn't come quick, it takes years. And what you look for is the years of doing something and understanding why. and going deeper than the first answer. So mine has been the business I've started 16 years, yeah. Under the first thing of the why was to make more money. What's deeper than that? Deeper than that. And the calling around it is the situation I'm in today.
There was a deeper intention inside that you were unaware of.
Yes.
Been unaware of that deeper intention for 16 years. Now that deeper intention is starting to reveal itself.
Mhm. And there was a sense, you could call it a sense, that something big's happening, going to happen. Some rule's gonna open the door for you, for the business to take off as business declined.
Yes.
And it's those moments of, oh, there it is. They're just little, but you can feel it. And it's almost as that feeling comes to the surface, gets satisfied for the moment and says, oh, there we are. And that's the right stone, the stepping stone. Now look for the next one.
See, and what I'm suggesting today is that there's a part of you that saw that well in advance of it actually showing up,
Mhm.
years in advance.
Well, from you called it preordained, which would mean in the early creation of me.
Right, right.
And I can't help but think that we probably were created from two sperm, or a sperm and an egg. We were created with that idea in mind.
Yes.
I don't know
Yes.
where else it would come from.
Yeah, exactly.
So. So the only obvious is to stay in those moments of that exhilaration of that connectedness to it, that yearning is expressing, and say, how do I do more of that? How do I be that? What has me be that? And another word we call it is living our true nature and purpose. By not just by doing more than asking one time, what is my true nature and purpose, and being frustrated because I didn't get an answer.
Right, right. The thing is, answers to questions have a time element to them as well.
Mhm. Well, yes, they do. And our reality today, in our experience, our pattern is to get that answer immediately because of everything that's at the tip of our fingers.
Right.
Easily be distracted with anything, look up anything instantly, except for our true nature and purpose.
Right. So because we want everything immediately, we've been conditioned that things happen quickly in general.
The expectation has been conditioned.
Yeah, basically the energy of time controls us instead of us controlling the energy of time. So it's that fourth dimension that trips us up. where we get stuck. Primarily. We're encouraged to get stuck there. Like we reward people that take action now. If you do this now, then you get this and this and this. If you don't do it now, then you don't. It's reward and punishment around that time factor too. It makes it even difficult to become free of.
And I'll say this and then welcome Allie. You spoke of we get stuck, that fourth dimension we get stuck in. And for me, it's like that fourth dimension that we're stuck in is the awareness or lack of awareness.
Right.
What are we aware of or not aware of? And it's in that awareness becomes the limit, or it becomes the potential.
Right.
Hi, Allie.
Hey
Allie.
guys, I'm driving. I'm just
Awesome.
driving home from work. So I'm listening. It's so good to be with you guys again tonight.
You too, my
Great
dear.
to be with you. Chime in whenever.
I'll jump in once I've stopped driving. I'm just going to put it on to mute.
Perfect.
Okay.
Hi, Allie.
Then you can, like, if we're aware of it, it's you think about how often, or try to remove time from your experience.
Yeah, what's it like when time is not the focus?
You know,
Time is not the
and-
object.
And just being in awareness of how much we're patterns, how much our habits are using the distinctions of time.
Yes.
It's so thick. And I'm not suggesting that we toss it out and create something new with it. But I mean, not like replacing time. The point is to be aware of that time, to be aware of our expectations of time.
And just being aware of it changes the whole thing.
And
You can use the moment to explore potential, or you can use the moment to take some kind of action that's not it's not conducive to anything.
So a wonderful exercise to experience it is to just imagine the last 3 days.
Yep.
Just kind of bundle them up in a little package, you know, just like they're laid out in front of you. As you look at them, you can say, oh, that's what time tense is the majority of my focus? Has it been focused on the past? Has it been oriented to the past, to the previous, to how it's been? Or is it focused on the future? Is the majority of your time focused on tomorrow, the next day, later on out there into the future. And the third one is, well, maybe your focus has been every moment of now. And when you have your order from majority, from the most, give it to percentage. Roughly, what percentage am I in each? And when we do that, we open the potential of awareness.
Yeah. I spend a lot of my present wondering what could. It's just because I love to be there.
Mhm.
The interesting thing is you can have a really, you can focus on the future and you can be worried or anticipating.
Mhm.
There's a real different energy between the two of those.
Well, there's different charges. So energy is always a charge.
Yeah.
And so tell me what's the charge difference? It's obvious. I mean, you and I, but positive and negative. Hi, Allison. Morning.
Morning, everybody.
Oh, we got
Sandra.
Allison
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Awesome.
Hi, Craig.
Good morning,
Hi, Sandra.
my
It's so
love.
wonderful. It's wonderful to hear your voice. My God, it feels like ages.
I know, I know. It's good to hear yours too.
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt conversation.
And now Allie she's driving, but she's listening in. So big love to her as well.
Oh, hi, Allie.
She's going to join when she lands safely.
Good. Well, I'm going into the dreaded Costco, so I'll have to mute, but I thought I would have some company while I do my shopping.
Yeah, so
It's
it is
every
good.
now and then.
Now we are creating our reality. That's the theme today.
Yeah. That's a really worthwhile theme. And
Craig was introduced it from the standpoint of being with people in conversations, not about being accurate or correct in our information, but rather opening potential in which they can see different things, see a different future, create land. So planting seeds, yeah, of just something that could be. So, and that led us into the exercise of time, the demonstration to engage, to be aware. It's like the fourth dimension is hidden from us, Craig said, as we're going for our true nature, working to pull that out of the unknown and make it known, bring it in. What is it? What could it be? And so in that is really connected to our purpose is really connected to where our focus is at.
and that whole thing about could is so valuable and so simple.
Mhm.
It just brings about that immediate expansion.
Mhm. It is a calling to that, we'll call it the preordained purpose or true nature of the self.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so special when people can do it with magic because it's not common in our day. And for people that it is common in their day, they're reminded and they can flow into it very quickly. So it's adding a positive charge to a positive charge that amplifies.
And we can only do it together.
Mhm. To the
Can't
maximum.
amplify- Yeah,
Yeah.
can't amplify that efficiently on your own. You can do it.
Yeah, because that connection is primarily relational. Relational requires choice on both, choice from both or all parties. It's a choice about participation, interaction.
And in that, so there's a we component to it when we're interacting, when we're interbeing. There's a we component that only stems from the me. So it's a collection of me's that create a we. And that's only possible through the awareness or the orientation. How do we
Yeah.
orient? How does my me orient with your me? And so there's that true nature pattern, right? That like way deep in, and then there's the surface things, the surface behaviors where different degrees for different people and under different circumstances are more free to openly engage with others or to be more closed off and defensive. Again, a positive or negative looking at the energy.
Yeah, when one of the we pulls back, it changes the dynamic of the relationship. Just for an example. That's what I like about gathering here and doing this every day, is because we're just enticed and almost like I'm really drawn into this because the engagement of it is extremely nourishing. The deeper engagement every day is really something my heart craves. So I love it.
And the only thing I can compare it to is I was doing it alone.
Yeah.
I was doing it in my head. I was doing it in my heart. So that meant I wasn't speaking it out loud.
Well, it wasn't relational because there wasn't someone to engage with.
That's right. Not at all. So it was
I
very limited, but I didn't realize it. I didn't know it at the time, how limited it was until I engaged in something different. That frustration, right? So here we'll go back to the preordained, deep down desire, true nature and purpose that said, I got to the point of so frustrated. It's like, well, what the hell do I do next? And it's like, I start this session and 200 and some days later, it's really, yes, living my true nature and purpose, but yes, a success to my standards, but to an outsider looking in, not at all. There's, if certain people around business partner would probably say you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, here's the funny flip side to that for me, is that by engaging with you people every day, what's happening is I'm engaging with myself in a totally different way.
Mm, mm.
Oh, I
Ah,
can relate
like-
to that.
Yeah, it's like my parts aren't fighting with each other anymore.
yeah,
They're starting to cooperate.
yeah. Who wouldn't want that?
Yeah, exactly. But
Uh,
it was because of playing with this with other people that somehow that's turned around for me.
yes.
You know, and
It
I
didn't
want to
start
honor
out.
I want to honor that. I want to honor that.
Hmm. Yes, I honor that too. Because there were, the recorded sessions, you can go back and see layers that each of us broke through.
Yes. Yes.
And it was because of the conversations where we could observe ourselves. Many of them early on I was frustrated, right? It was like I could, like, expectations that had to be certain ways, and there was confrontations that took place, right? And there's people that got angry and left, and some came back and some didn't. You know, and it's all, yeah. And so timing again, it's like, well,
So
should
coming
this,
here is like an aligning tune-up.
Yeah, it can be.
Just like this, as you're all speaking, it's like this week, taking my me, being my me, and engaging with different groups and environments. But it's like I could see the contrast of my energy and theirs. Sometimes good feedback, sometimes not so appreciated feedback. And it's like you don't force other environments to be what they are, but no matter where you are, you still strive, not even strive, be who you are. But it's like a car going through, driving a highway. It gets all these like bugs and spats on it. And you go through life and you get these things that attach to you that you can either stop and clean them off right there, or you just keep on moving. But at some point you got to clean the windshield to define and evaluate the feedback to the extent that it has any worth. But you do that in a place where you have you own your own alignment of who you are and what you are, and those interactions, how you're going to perceive those interactions. Are they going to change you? Are they going to enlighten you? Or is it something that you just say, well, that's not me, and stand in your own meanness? And not in any kind of anger way. You just go, oh, okay. You could be angry if it triggers, And a few times, it's funny. I actually had a trigger, and I was like, oh, let me go sit in this trigger. What does this mean?
Yeah.
Let me get this information.
yes.
Yes. How valuable is that?
Yeah, that's some good feedback.
No kidding.
Yeah. And it integrates with my DNA being, but I get to choose how much of it I allow it to permeate, and even what it means to permeate in and with me, and even just knock some of the bugs off. It's just like, okay, it serves a purpose, but it doesn't serve to the highest good of my purpose. And it's good to get to a point for some stuff, to be able to discern that like quickly. But those other ones, you go, oh, this trigger. Oh, this is really kind of interesting. Why do I feel like that? What is it teaching me? Is it bringing up something else?
That's being a conscious creator. You've just described the process.
Totally. Yeah, we were discussing in a previous episode how the trigger actually becomes an anchor.
Mhm.
It's actually a launch pad for something else. Look at it close enough. See that? Hey, I just want to point out too, I noticed, Sindrell, your language is changing quite radically. Every time you come on here, it's different. Yeah.
Okay. Share.
Well, no, I'm just saying.
You're slow. It's not, you are intentionally choosing words in the moment, which means it's that awareness is coming closer and closer to the source of the moment of now that is expressing the truth.
Yes. Very well said.
And that, let me tell you, that is power.
Precise. Very precise language.
That is our power. That is that true nature.
Wow.
That is it. That is us practicing our true nature flowing out of us, because it's the words we use, we're aware of them, and we modify them, we adjust them as we say them. That is such a level of awareness.
We're practicing the energy of meaning.
Mm.
Actually practicing by speaking, by communicating the energy.
We're slowing down time. So that we listen, we take it in, we're listening from you, from out there, from others, we're listening. Our self-talk is somewhat more aligned, so it's not going crazy, so we can really listen. We can listen and write it on the inside of us to say, how does that trigger me? And then, like, all that's taking place so much slower now that we can say, oh, well, I'm really with you. I hear you, and this is what I contribute back to you. Wow, nothing better than that.
Thank you for sharing that observation of me.
Welcome.
You go into being, and sometimes you don't even realize that you have flowed into this beingness, because it just is. It's a call of your alignment. And I've been having a conversation with someone distinctly over the phone, and they would laugh. And I said, why are you laughing? They said, you pick your words so carefully. Why do you speak like that? And I said, because it doesn't matter what I say if it's not truth. And the refinement of the awareness of the truth comes through the head, heart, and spirit simultaneously. So I want to make sure that I'm giving clear truth. So I have to listen and feel and think at the same time. And I want to honor the space that it takes to do that in.
Me too.
Me three.
And you can only honor that space if you've made it. If you've made this space for it, which is what we do. Otherwise, as an observer that hasn't, would see it as a waste of time. And they'll sign up for another course where someone will tell them all about themselves, give them all the right information, and it still won't work.
Someone else had started a conversation with me, and it's like they were looking for an answer. And it's like they were waiting for my suggestion of the answer. And I said, it's whatever your path deems it to be as your path becomes available to you and you trusting it. I said, because from my perspective, that's not, I see you, but I don't see your path. And for me to, I got ideas, but for me to presume and put that on you, it would just slow you down. So what do you see? What do you feel?
That is creator's wisdom. Ooh.
Yeah.
It is so well said. What I can say is we can see the intersection with them. We can see the intersection. We can hear, yes, that's your passion. We can hear, oh, that appears to be your block, but we have no idea really like where it's headed. Only the uniqueness does.
That's hearing the energy in it.
Mhm.
Okay, that's multi-dimensional senses we're talking about here.
And it got real funny because what did they said something in response of, oh, they said, I don't know what to say about that. I just feel some kind of way about it. And I said, oh, do you need a hug? I said, why would you say that? I said, sometimes you just need to not let all the feelings go out. You just need to kind of hold it right there so you can feel what you're feeling. And they were like, oh, I think I do need a hug. I said, well, your spiritual hug.
That was the energy talking. And you heard it.
It's like the obvious action, right? It was the obvious action that was next, that was on your genius. Yeah, it says that. I'm going to bring this out of nothing.
The energy told you so.
Yeah. And so often our default is to say, oh, well, that's inappropriate. I can't do that. That's not expected next. So we don't do the obvious.
Mm.
And we do that enough times and we become trained to not listen to that aspect. To
Mhm.
not listen to that alignment. Man, no one wins when we do that.
Mhm.
Thank you for making that correlation. The energy and the alignment to the energy.
And that's what we're striving for.
Mhm.
Well, that's what we're syncing up to.
Well, that sounds better.
Yeah, but if you can't sense the energy, then how can you sync up to it? It's kind of that obvious.
Beam me up,
Problem.
Scotty.
Gotti.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Oh, I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave. Yeah, it's exactly. It's
Sensors
fighting the
indicate that
tractor beam.
there's sensors indicate that there's air in this environment. So we can land there.
Because the only thing we create is our feelings.
We think. Is that right?
I didn't say that again.
From the thoughts that we think. Because that's what creates them, isn't it?
That feeling, then it's like this. Now that they work so well together, but I say the majority of the weight, if you will, the real it's not the force, but it's the real energy is in the feeling of it. So whatever we're feeling is what we'll create, because that is what we're going to look for, and then we'll attach the words to it.
Love that.
Yeah, and it's not the emotion of it, it's the energy of the emotion.
Yeah.
So part of the problem with that is a lot of our associations around emotional energy are incorrect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're mismatches. They aren't true with each other. They aren't accurate.
Thanks for clearing that up for me.
So we're learning the new associations that are accurate.
Yeah. Yeah. The new alignments.
That's how a trigger can become an anchor. Trigger is
Love
a
that. I always think
misinterpretation of the
triggers.
energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
The misinterpretation of the energy. That
Take
may
the
have
floor,
been true
Ellie.
at one time. Go, Allie.
Ooh, see the pressure? The spotlight just came on. Do you feel it?
I'm going to put the light on.
I could barely hear you.
Everyone, I'm sneaking around the house because everyone's asleep.
Okay.
Gotcha. Perfect. I hear you.
It's
Yeah,
like
this
that
is,
moment.
yeah. A magnetic moment.
Not really is, because you think about triggers and you worry about, because it's just what comes with trigger. But to make it, for it to turn into an anchor, like that just sounds so much more fun.
Yes, and
Yeah, because it triggers a concentration of energy.
Yeah.
Right? The thing is, any concentration of energy can be beneficial if it's interpreted correctly. This is big too. Our physiology is actually programmed to react to energy in a certain way.
mm,
So the charge of a threat, concentration of energy in a perceived threat triggers a physiological response. Pre-programmed. It's built into the physiology.
Are you walking, Craig? Because there's loads of background noise. Am I the only one that's hearing that?
no, yeah, it is. It's the microphone that keeps hitting something. So
Yeah.
it is.
I was focusing on what you were saying.
It takes another level, a farther level to listen, huh?
It does.
Yeah, so that initial response to the that initial response to the threat energy. Yeah. Wired into physiology.
It's higher.
Wow. So this is interesting, okay, because we have physical senses like sight and
Yep.
hearing and
Yep.
all
Yep.
of those, right? And those instincts, those physiological instincts are on the same plane. They're all on the 3D. They're all in the 3D
Yeah.
plane.
Yeah.
Okay, and what's happening here is we're learning how to use our fifth dimension senses, which are a heck of a lot more accurate. But they're also not limited by physical reality.
I have to utterly tell you.
The trick is to change our dependence from the physical senses to the higher dimensional ones.
And how do we do that,
operate in
Greg?
Well, we're practicing. We practice it
We're
every day.
practicing.
We're doing it every day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are.
Yes. So can you hear me?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I hear things, like if I'm in a room, it is the most minute, irritating sounds that I hear while someone or something can be obviously being presented that I'm supposed to focus on. And I am keenly aware of that background sound. When for a clearer example, if I'm on the phone with somebody and they have like a fan or something humming in the background or a TV, my senses, I have to ask them, can you please turn that down? Because I
I'm the
hear
same.
that.
Yep.
See?
I'm the
tribe.
same.
I
I'm
hear
the same.
that
And like
more
my
than I hear you.
Yep. And like my daughter's the opposite to me. Like when she's studying, she's got exams just now, and she puts her headphones on and listens to music to study. And I think, I don't know how her brain does it. I quote focus the same. I'm like you.
But today
it's
I'm
interesting.
today it's I hear it, but it is not distracting me. Not at
Good.
all. It's just part of the flow. And that's amazing to me.
Yeah.
It's really funny because my family of origin was extremely noisy all the time, and I just learned to tune out.
Yeah.
You know, and fun to, and sometimes it's comfortable to have, for me, to have background noise of some kind. I can get in the zone when I have background noise.
Yeah, me too.
You know, so it's like, yeah, and it's very interesting how our
Oh, well,
conditioning sets us up for those things.
So all these senses.
What I will say is, in building in enticing listeners, it'll 99% of the people won't listen to it because of that background noise.
Right.
So
That's interesting.
just telling you what that microphone does, Craig.
Yeah, man, you need to upgrade your phone.
And it's not the phone, it's move out of the wireless move to the wireless ones,
Oh, right.
because it's the cord, it's that microphone that keeps hitting the jacket or the face, and it rubs on it, and as soon as you talk, right, it picks up everything, and then when you don't talk, it does the background noise reduction. So
Now this is a funny thing that we're talking about right now, because there's also digital noise in the signal that's going back and forth too. So there's that's going on as well that isn't actually heard either. So it's kind of funny. This is coming up.
I can't hear you. You've totally gone, Craig.
What's that? Am I gone?
Yeah, for me.
Can you hear me now?
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm cracking a pretty good pace this morning. So yeah, the truth is there's all kinds of noise, which
Yep.
And that's
may
only one of our
actually,
senses.
yeah, which may actually be making it easier for us to develop these senses, to practice these senses, because when there's some kind of obstruction in the sensing, that's when the tuner tunes up.
Yep.
Okay?
That's
It's
the
like
key.
if you go blind, your ears get really, really sensitive, for example.
Yeah.
Okay? So learning to hear through the noise or inside the noise is part of that superpower.
Yeah.
Well, yes. But it is not in our common background for people to view it that way. They view it more as an added cost that's not worth the investment.
Correct.
So then from from our speaking point of view, it's a waste of our time.
I know. Love you.
If no one's going to listen. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Or an added cost, which means what we share has to increase the value.
Yeah.
But most people, because sound is so important on these things like this, most people will not incur it, and they will see that trigger, and their
Right.
automatic pattern will pop up, and they'll be like, nope, I'm out of here. Foop.
Yeah.
Out, foop, out. It's too hard to understand, too much work to work through it. So I'm going to go somewhere else where it's really easy to listen. That's just what people do.
Yeah. And the unconscious is really good at distracting you.
Mhm,
You don't want to hear something,
that's right.
because it always makes all the decisions. That talk in our minds, that's what makes all our decisions. Everything goes by that.
Yes, but it's so unaware of it. Like 99%
Oh,
of
but
its
see,
happenings.
right, right, that's that. It's not.
Take it.
Yeah,
That noise could actually be a barrier
yeah,
for
Can be.
those who are not really inclusive
ready.
to the call
Yeah,
beyond it.
we're ready to hear what it is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it weeds out your audience.
And what is it you say about procrastination, Craig? What was it you said? It's
Yeah,
not a bad
procrastination.
thing. It's,
Procrastination can be divine timing.
yeah.
Instead, what we've done is we compartmentalized it as an issue. We don't understand the power of it, right?
Yeah.
It's like procrastination can mean, no, don't step off this cliff right now. That wouldn't be good.
Yeah.
And it all comes into what our individuals have associated a word with a charge.
Correct.
And so the automatic, when you say procrastination, is everyone says, puts up their defense and says, nope, not
Yep,
me, because
and
that is a
trigger.
negative charge.
And trigger.
I
Yeah.
can't, I can't be labeled as a procrastinator. But then when it's
Yep.
like there's a situation that I don't want to step off that cliff, it's like I will procrastinate, and then it's okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I get to choose.
That's right. So it is the charge. It is the charge that's driving
Yep.
it all the time.
Yes. Every
And we
time.
just assume that it's a negative, it has to be a negative charge. And rather than looking at, well, no, how could it be a positive charge?
Yep.
It's interpretation.
Releases it. It releases the control over us when we look at it, when we look at all the options, the coulds.
Mhm.
And which is why neutral is our best place, because there's so much space in the neutral, because we can see when we start to get pulled one way or the other, always preferring to be in the positive, but we can't always, we just don't want to condition ourselves to see everything positive, because then we're not living life either.
Yeah.
But you think about it, most of the time we're in a neutral state because we're just not aware of it.
Yeah.
Well, and the real power is in both and.
That's right.
Have any of you read A Tethered Soul?
I just got that everything that is negative is positive.
Well,
Yeah.
it's both. It's both.
It's both.
So there's no point even labeling it as negative or positive.
It
You can
just
consciously make it work for you, whatever it is. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how the energy shows up. It can be beneficial or detrimental depending on how you choose it to be.
The awareness is what is required to be able to make that discernment.
Right. Awareness that it's just energy,
That's right.
and that's all.
that I've attached to a word,
or a meaning.
which is the feeling. It is the charge, is the meaning.
The charge isn't the meaning. That's my point. The charge is just the charge. It can mean whatever you want it to mean. You transform the charge by changing its meaning.
What I will say is you can't, not only do you can't do it just once, because that is such a conditioned pattern that it takes work to remove, like to replace it. And the more we look at it, the more we see it, the more that we reveal it and allow it, the easier those charges become. That's structure. That's the tension that we create
just
between
say-
them.
You don't want to discharge the energy. You want to actually use it. You want to redirect it.
That's right.
You want to take advantage of it.
Which is a release of it, right? Release, let it go somewhere else, rather than containing it, trapping it, it only being one thing.
Let it be what it wants to be, or what it could be.
Mhm. That is how you create your reality. Just an accumulation of charges that we call positive or negative. We say happy in my life, I'm living a good life, a life I love, or I'm worried, frustrated, and angry most of the time because things aren't working out.
I think I see a situation. What it really is energy.
Yep. That's as easy, simple, and silly as I can make it.
Yeah, it's the wrapper that we've put on it. Just wrapper on the energy.
Yep. Well, the
That's
wrapper
what
is
it
the
is.
information. The wrapper around it's all the information, like it.
So the
all the
learning.
Yeah, the experience, right? The information, our expectations, our judgments,
Yeah.
our all those things are the wrapper around it.
They're an add-on.
Mhm.
They're not it.
That's right. No.
Yeah.
We assume that the wrapper is the it.
Yep.
Not.
Yep.
Buy a chocolate bar, you're gonna eat the wrapper. Chocolate bar. Oh, that's a good metaphor, that one. Really good. I can work with that one.
Yeah, all the information on the wrapper, all of that, right? And it's like nobody gives a shit about that. You just want to eat the candy,
Right.
the
right.
good stuff that's inside.
Yeah, and we're
It tastes so yummy
preoccupied.
inside.
Yeah, we're preoccupied with the damn wrapper.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Is it the right color? Did I say the right things? Is it the right words on it? It's like, oh my God, what is someone else going to think about my wrapper?
Yeah, and isn't it interesting? That's where all the advertising is.
Oh yeah, heck.
It's filled with information about what's inside,
Yeah.
but it's not the stuff that's inside. So instead we keep reading the wrapper over and over and over again.
No. We
Trying
grab the
to change
wrapper,
the
never
wording
open
on
it
it.
up. Never open it up. That's right.
Never open it up. Yeah.
Well, I want to open mine up.
That's right. Want to experience that candy, right? That's
You're
the
right,
genius.
baby.
That's the
Right.
genius is inside that wrapper.
All that gooiness inside. I'm picturing
Yeah.
a cream egg right now. I don't know if you get them in the
Yes.
US, but I'm
Oh, yes,
actually
I do.
picturing a cream egg,
Mr.
Cadbury's
Cadbury.
cream egg. Yeah, man.
Mr. Cadbury, you make good chocolate.
Yeah, and they're getting smaller and smaller every Easter.
Yeah, exactly. And they cost more and more.
What's going on? Hmm.
Scarcity is what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Inflation, scarcity, not enough.
Yeah.
You buy something that's all wrapped up really, really nice, and then you
Yeah.
open it up and there's nothing inside it.
That's what chips are, right? Bag of chips. Filled with a lot of air and there's not a lot of chips in it.
No contents. Keep hearing that word in marketing all the time. Content.
Content, yeah.
Content. And about 99% of it is empty, but it's content.
Yeah.
Empty and noise are the same thing.
Yeah.
Packaging. Why I'm so pissed off about what they've done with online learning. But anyway.
No, just setting the stage for those that can do something else that do the next things with it.
Well, exactly. That's going to be an explosion.
The improvements.
It's already started. It's real stuff. It's not the fluff. Fluff is worth $500 billion a year, apparently. So the future is bright.
Yeah, definitely is.
It's
The future is
1%.
bright. The
Well,
future
1% is
orange.
worth half a trillion. Then what would 99% be worth?
God.
Yeah, it's astronomical.
Unbelievable, eh? And they say money doesn't make the world go round.
It doesn't. I just think it does.
Yeah.
Thought that.
So they can see why society would think that though.
Leave the wrapper.
Not till you're aware. Yeah, exactly.
Taught to
Not
leave
till
the
you know.
wrapper. Even after the wrapper's open and there's there's nothing inside, we still
Well, it's the self-help, it's a $40 billion market. And growing. So obviously it's working.
Yeah. It's the structure.
And that's the problem. If it's working successfully that way financially, then of course people are going to copy it.
it just goes viral.
Like
It's the
the word duplication. I don't know what comes to mind.
duplication, exactly, right?
Appears to be working
Yeah.
because we're looking at the wrong metric.
Yeah.
Keep telling ourselves it's a value metric, but it's not.
I would say it's an awareness metric. It should be an awareness of ourselves, awareness of our tension, of our energy.
That's the problem with metrics, is they rob us of awareness. Focus on the
Well, and
metric instead of the awareness, instead of the truth. Keeps replicating itself. So,
So what I'll notice, what popped in for me this morning was an appreciation to every day this. It doesn't matter how I come into the call, because it can be swings. There's swings all the time. Like we just wake up in the morning and we're in some sort of mood. We're in some sort of feeling, in some sort of energy. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It could be positive. It could be negative. And coming in here, gathering with people like you, it always leaves grounded, positive, and in my genius. Yeah, it's always back in the center of that. And so that is what I continue to appreciate every morning
love
about
that.
that.
Yeah.
yeah, me too.
I would love it to be morning for me. I go to bed at night and I do get up in the morning and it's good, but to do it in the morning to set before you die, you guys are so lucky.
Well, you can do yours. Set up yours in the morning.
I do my stuff in the morning, I
There you
do
go.
my stuff. But it's not the same doing it by yourself.
I
I
know.
normally
That's
do it
what
with Hannah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. You never see past her 4 orientation meditation. Love it.
Yeah. That's just a step up or a better, but there's something about that live.
Yeah.
Where
No.
you can engage. That's the problem I have with that structure, is that there's no invitation for you to engage.
Yeah.
That's, I think, what Craig is pointing to, of the dissatisfaction with the online learning. It's everyone preaching to you their information, and we just take it in as if that's the most effective way.
Yeah, and it's not.
There's no participation, there's no interaction. I've got these videos that are one-dimensional, that are broadcasting their stuff, and so all it is information.
Yeah,
And information, quite frankly, isn't really all that helpful because most of it's noise.
It's
Yeah.
better than nothing. It's better than nothing.
Better than nothing, but people aren't concise enough with their words, which is something like we talked about earlier,
yeah,
like that observation about Cinderella change in language, like her language is changing. It's that kind of language that will make video and lecture and that
Big
kind
shift.
of stuff different.
yeah,
Okay, because it's not just information, then you're actually communicating energy
with yourself. I
Yeah.
love that.
That's
Wow,
why
that's
those that are
exciting.
doing it improve it. That's why they get the reward, right? Is because they're the ones that are speaking it out loud all the time.
Yeah,
And then people pay them for that. So like they get the improvement and the money. Wow, that's amazing.
yeah,
because that's really what we're doing in this group. That's the intangible part of this group, is that we're learning how to communicate energetically with each other.
yeah,
It's not just words, it's not just meanings, it's not just concepts, it's not just that. I mean, there's this whole dynamic, this interaction dynamic that's happening, below the surface. That's extremely powerful.
mm,
Co-creating
Yes.
yeah. At its
Yeah.
best.
at
Yes,
its
but it's energy, and the only thing you can do is practice it.
Okay, so trusting the process,
Yeah,
even when you don't realize how you are changing as you're changing.
yeah,
So I'm in the midst of like, what is my true essential way to manifest the life that I want? And
Yeah.
so along the way, I have picked up programs and systems to work what I believe is in alignment. And, when you commit to something, say, okay, I'm gonna work this program and do this.
Yep.
But the more I'm doing it and I'm saying it out loud for the first time, I'm feeling more incongruency with the program,
yeah,
but yet the commitment and investment is there.
yeah,
And in it, I'm finding a little thread of something
yeah,
that is not yet fully maturated to produce and take care of the livelihood and the income.
yes, yes.
Yes.
The word expressions coming to mind for me, like it's just like they are.
Yeah.
So let me hop on another vein.
Yeah, go.
I'm on a train. I know where it's going. I've agreed with it. I bought the ticket. I'm on it. I got on it with exhilaration, energy, blah, 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 all of that. I'm on this train and that's where I'm going. But there is a trolley somewhat parallel. And it is like, kindly intriguing.
Did you watch Mr. Rogers when you were growing up?
A little bit, yeah.
That was the vision that came to me when you're talking about that, about the trolley.
I thought of Harry Potter. With his trolley and he couldn't get in the wall, through the wall.
Yeah.
But it's like, how do you, it's like coming, do you trust that strong impact instinct of what you got on the train that you got on?
Yeah.
or,
Say that again, I
or
missed
do
that,
you,
sorry.
hmm?
Sorry, go. Missed that.
But then it's like coming to trust the play and the call of the trolley. When
Yeah.
when it's a mist. It's, you know, it's like not really, it's, you know, something's there, but you don't really see it.
Yeah, that's that foreordained life I'm talking about. Right? It was like the track and the trolley were all set down before you ever entered this life. Like it was there. And the thing is, you know, it's like, okay.
So it comes to me like you can, I see a leap of faith of you taking a leap of faith, and you know what you're leaping of faithing.
Yes.
But when you take a step of intuitive inquisitiveness, and there you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Intuitive curiosity. When you take a step, the bridge appears.
Yeah.
You can't see it before you take the step, but you can sense it.
It has no real form, it has no shape, it has no real definition, but there's just a beingness that you're like, what is this coming of and out of me? And even with the question of it, knowing that it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Its form is potential.
And well, what is the next right true step? And what I get most instinctively is stay true to yourself. Stay true to yourself.
Bingo. There's your
Yeah,
North Star right there.
it may cost you all of the false insecurity that you think you're going after on this train that you bought this ticket for, that has a definite aim and purpose. But is that your way? Which is not even a question. The question is, what is your way?
See, your true nature knows. Your true nature knows the whole map. Your true nature knows all that foreordained stuff. It knows, it has all the knowledge of it. Your true nature actually agreed to it. Your true nature has all of it. It's written in your heart, written all over your heart. It's written in your DNA. It's all over the place.
So it's how do I, you know, and I'm asking in universe and self and here in the community, it's like, how do I bring this and live this so I'm not entertained with the concerns of living it, of having finances, of having a roof over my head, of paying my bills, you know, like I'm like wondering, like, you know, to meet the responsibilities.
Yeah. Well, the leap of faith, believe it or not, this is bizarre, but the leap of faith is investing your time in it.
Yeah. How do we know when it's the right time, when it's a leap of faith?
Well, yeah, but I'm not talking about timing events or anything like that. What I'm talking about is is invest your time
Yep.
in being it, in being the truth of it.
Yeah. But we've got to release the energy because it's still active in our vibration. So
Right,
it's still active.
right.
Like these,
So-
these limiting thoughts.
Well, yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
releasing those and focusing on the potential, focusing on the well, potential and truth are basically the same thing.
And the potential. Okay.
And your true nature is the same thing. They're all one. They're all one and the same.
Yeah.
So invest the time in it's experiencing the oneness of all that and focusing on the oneness of it. Because there's no separation. There's no differentiation. You know, this individual that's walking around is a temporary arrangement. But
So
the individual needs to realize its oneness with all that is.
and that doesn't pay the bills.
Well, no, it doesn't pay the bills, not initially,
Right,
but eventually it will.
right. So there's competing structures at play. One, the old way that I've done it, that I said, oh, I had to do it this way to do that. And it's like, okay. And then there's a new one that says, oh, like that's the potential, that's the possibilities. And you're taking what you've invested and putting it into something new. So it is the experience of bridging those two. And
Which is what
Ali,
we
as
do
you
here
said,
every morning.
that's right. It's like letting go of the old structures. If they're not good enough, right? We let go of the old structures and take that leap of faith into the new structures.
Mhm.
Or hold on to the old structures, right? That's meaning it's like we don't usually have to change much except for our perspective.
You
For
tweak
me,
it.
it was to put money second. No,
So
because it
the
showed up.
truth is,
No,
yeah, the truth is you don't actually have to leap.
that's
can
right. It's just a
transition.
shift.
You can transition. You can shift a piece at a time. So that's a really good example of twisting the shift from money to time. Just that simple thing. Look at what that has born for us. It's been birthed from just that shift.
So mine was joy, because when I answered the question, when I have my money, then I'll be happy. When I have all my money, then I'll be happy. That was my pattern. So I just take the happy joy, put that up in front, and then say, then I'll have the money. So when I'm happy, then
Right.
I'll have the money.
Right.
That's my shift.
And that's a meditative intention to sit in
Yep.
in order to hold that vision.
Yep.
Because my previous habit could be money, then joy. You know,
Yes.
it kind of wants to keep pulling back to that habitual thought.
That's right.
But to
Out
take
there.
the time to hold the intention of joy.
Mhm. It all matters what your unique pattern was, because when you sit in what it is that you want, right, then the answers reveal themselves. Because part of my joyful life is to have enough money for that. Yeah. And now that's when the timing comes in. So the timing comes in. Be it before you see it, right?
Be
But
it,
that's
and you
part of
will see it.
that's part of my joy. My joy is in that enough, and timing has it not there yet. Right, the money aspect, the money's not there, but it's the opportunities and possibilities. It's that guidance. It's like, oh, is that still the right direction? Am I still on the right? Does it still make sense for me to be on this train? Well, am I joyful? Am I happy? Then yes.
Joy's still there.
If it isn't, then it's like, well, okay, now I start looking for how to get off that train and onto the trolley. What does that trolley look like? How would I get over there? How could we keep asking that? Could, what do I want? How could I? What do I want? That is how we create reality for the future of what we want. And it's in the direction of positive, yes, and equally genius. It's like what asking all those sorts of questions about the positivity of the future. Like, what could it be? What have I invested in so far that I love, and how do I change my perspective of that? Investing in real estate, Cinderella, it's like you've been committed to that. So it's like, how do you look at that differently?
Mhm.
Because we have been investing in our passion. It's just a tweaked view of it.
Morning.
And I can't tell you your journey.
It'll be unique. It's guaranteed.
All I can share is mine. Some wise person told me that. Just today.
Mhm.
Can also share your experience of the person, which is also what Joel was sharing too. Certainly for me, that's been very important from time to time.
Okay. So what does that, why is it important?
It gives codes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Confidence, encouragement, faith. It like adds the energy into it that we do see the genius that others are. And even if we don't always see it. Right? Who could use a little more encouragement? Every one of us.
All the time.
It's a bitch by yourself.
When when you talk about encouragement, it's also a demonstration of appreciation of a creation.
Yes.
And when you turn that around for people, in terms of if you take it out of the, or if you do it, if you get it in the right structure, I guess, you can get them out of their ego into, and yourself, into the broader definition of and understanding of what we really are. And, and that opens everything up.
That's right. Slight shift in the perspective. A slight shift in the fixed view.
Mm.
In the fixed charge. In the fixed time. Whatever the fixedness is.
Yeah.
That's the power and the limitation of our focus.
Yes.
It's also
Mm,
potential energy.
Or potential energy.
It's energy that's still.
Jess, you were talking about the power and the limitation of focus. So it also, I guess, depends on sorry, I had to watch what I was doing. It depends on the breadth of the focus, right? So for me, while I was shopping, I was thinking, how can I make best use of being in, you know, in the energy of being with you guys, and honoring it both ways. So the way in which I could honor it for myself was to keep multiple points of focus as much as I possibly could, right?
Wow.
And just show up as much as I could for that. And I think that's what you mean by the power of the focus, as well as when you are zoomed in and very narrowly focused on something, which is of enormous value too. Right?
Yes.
So thank you, everybody. It was one of the best Costco shops I've ever done.
No, I know. I was thinking you jumped in on the
Yeah.
best session.
Yeah.
I thought that.
So Alison, can I ask you, is that multiple focus? Is that kind of a new experience for you?
No, but it's a new experience in Costco.
Yeah. Well done. You're a Jedi master.
Well, creating our reality, and everyone heard your excitement to go into Costco this morning is different than your excitement coming out.
Yes.
The diplomat. Jesse, you are such a diplomat.
So true.
Now, the question is, was it as obvious for you as it was for us?
Probably not.
I'm
I
sure
think
the
it was.
dynamics in Costco's has changed dramatically. Like, people are like, woo, woo, woo.
Wouldn't life be completely different?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it? Just imagine what that would be like if we all had that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is the direction of these calls.
Well, I have to also say that I had a very different experience at the checkout. And my experience usually at Costco with the checkout here is good. You know, people are very polite and efficient, but they're helpful as much as they can be with a load of customers that they've got to see to. And this this guy was on his own, and he took one look at my basket. I put some stuff on, and then he said, "Don't worry, I'll do the rest." And he did, and he packed it into my cooler bag. I mean, I was astounded. So I kept on looking at him and thinking, like, what's happened here? But I kind of afterwards I thought, maybe it was just the energy and the exchange that he could feel. So that was interesting.
Just.
Yeah, I
You
know.
downplayed the just.
Sorry. Apologies.
You created your reality. No need to apologize for your power. No need to apologize for your power.
Yeah.
For his power. For the geniuses.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It's miracles.
Put a pretty good wrapper on that candy bar,
So you just love it.
didn't you?
Imagine what's possible if we really put our intentions to it.
Yeah, well, exactly. Because you morphed that whole experience when you were in the middle of it.
And you are one of the best I know at it, Allison.
Thank you.
You're here.
Yeah, that's the value of being aware, right? It's seen it. It's like, wow, this is happening, right? Wow, this is there. And it's like the openness into it, the beauty of it. And it's like, we just don't know how it's going to show up. We just appreciate when it does.
Yes, and so then you go back to that thing of expectation, which I'm so grateful for, because that was a big one for me to look at, because I'd never questioned the validity, not the validity, but I'd never questioned what my expectations, the impact of my expectations on other people.
No, we don't.
I mean, I'd done it in my marriage support, that I'd realized, but I somehow thought because it was such a close, because it's such a close relationship, that was obvious, and I didn't get the breadth of how it impacts everywhere else, I don't think.
Well, I also say is that most people don't even see their expectations. They just do them.
Yes. Yeah.
They just be them. And it's like, as if that is the truth, which in their way it is, but it is in the awareness to say, oh, that is just an expectation, a conditioned.
Conditioned
And that's what I mean.
response.
That's what I mean by the limitation to the focus.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I definitely get
And
that.
and that'll cut you up
Yeah.
in life's way. It'll cut you up, eat you up, spit you out. Merciless.
Mercilessly.
There you go. That's the big word.
It's funny how sometimes we can get some.
These are not the droids you seek.
Amazing how we set the intention, we just allow it to unfold, we accept the obvious in the moment, we go with what's there, and without, I don't know, without expectation, right? It's like just thinking of the last 2 hours. The session as was designed, like created earlier on, Craig and I created it as like, oh, let's call it creating our reality.
And then we've all jumped on.
Yeah. And
Unlucky,
then
are
we had a real-time demonstration of it.
Mhm.
How practical is that?
Mhm. We demonstrate it, which is the most powerful way of doing it.
Mm.
Now, someone would have to invest their time to go through it, right?
Yeah.
If they can get past the mic noise.
Yeah. You has
And
yours
we
to
can,
hear. Let him hear.
that's right, without a doubt, right? Well, then you know they're serious. You know they're invested. You know there's value there, and it's like, oh, that's wonderful. And then we can slice and dice it, cut it all up, and deliver it in a way that is powerful. For what reason? I still don't know, right? I still don't know. Except
I'm
for to
just
create more experiences like Allison had at Costco every day for everyone.
Yeah.
Sorry, Cinderella.
no, I went to Costco with you on that last line. seeing Allison in there like spreading her magic sparkle energy dust all around, and people feeling enlightened and energized and uplifted and not knowing where it came from, and like Costco
Yes.
sales has just hit a peak.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
I'm my experience today that is just a pleasant gift is that the noise in the background did not like it didn't hammer my nerves. Like usually there's like a hammer sound hammering my nerves when noise is like that in the background. And it's not just, is it that I'm just like in tune or aligned or whatever all of this is, but to actually not have the internal experience of angst and irritation in a physical way. Like I don't have a headache. I didn't have to like shun my ears down or anything. And it's just you know, it's just delightful.
So what I get from that is that the moments that you do notice that you can come back to this one and say, look, I can.
Can you
I
repeat
can-
that?
So it's an experience. So it'll become a memory, a past memory that you can use as an anchor, right? When you are triggered in the future, when a situation shows up and you say, "Oh, look, I see that again," right? There's that distracting noise. There's a time I knew, like, this is what it felt like to drone it out. So it's just,
Yeah.
it's something, it's an experience to latch onto that you can lay out into the future.
Yeah, but I'm doing it with no effort.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah. And it'll serve you in future. Like I don't know when it will really serve you, but there will be a time where that will really serve what you're after. You're preparing for it. I wonder what you're preparing for. What could you be preparing for? Like, wow. So now you'll start looking for it, right?
That's a fun question.
Yeah, it is a fun question. I've been asked in the past 2 weeks. It's like, what do you want? Just ask for what you want. Just ask for what you want. I want a cherry lollipop that's sweet to my tongue, that doesn't have any calories, and it lasts a long time, and I can just skip going down the sidewalk, and it's
Yes.
great.
So why can't you have that?
I'm already experiencing it just in that I said it.
Wonderful. Beautiful. And that's just that's the trolley, right? That's the you just and whatever pops up in front of you, why we play that fantasy, if you will, but it's true. Whatever pops up in the way will pop up in real life.
Mhm.
It's the same thing. And when you say I'm having it, yeah, beautiful. You're on the path. Why question that? If there's no resistance in the moment, perfect. If there is resistance, you know how to deal with it.
I'm singing in the rain. It's a glorious day. I'm here again, and I'm dancing with my friends. Okay.
Morning. Might be checking out because my battery's going dead, so I'm gonna head for home and see if I can get some juice. If I disappear, it's nothing personal.
I've learned to not take it personal.
Yeah.
200 and however many days now.
It's 208, I think.
208. I think so too. I was thinking 6, but I think it's 8.
There's your number
That's
8.
unbelievable.
Mhm.
Mhm.
8 is my number.
Infinity. Well, enough juice to kick our day off, yeah, or to send it to rest, and carry it through the next for all of us. It's carrying off 24 hours at least.
Yeah.
Thank you,
It's
everybody.
been really sweet.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Been amazing.
great
Just what I
unwrapping,
needed.
great chocolate at the center. Enjoy your morsel, enjoy your candy, enjoy your treat, enjoy your genius.
It's
Love
so
you
good
all.
to have everybody.
Keep rewriting the wrappers.
There you go. All right. Till next time.
Till
Peace.
next.
Thanks, guys.
Big love, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.